Hello and welcome back to the Spotlight Games podcast for episode 108. Today we're going to be discussing just how accurate or perhaps inaccurate our predictions were for 2023 in gaming, and of course, adding in a new batch of Buckwild predictions for 2024. Joining me as always, my sweet dumpster boy, Cayman Darty. Cayman, how are you, buddy?
Patrick, I'm good. I'm fucking good, bro.
Yeah, you good?
Yeah, I'm dying, apparently. It is so cold, Patrick.
Oh my God. I'm like 2 hours south of you and I can barely feel my feet. So I can only imagine.
Patrick, we're about to be below 10 degrees where I'm at right now.
Whoa, let's see what I'm at here on the east side of town. I know we're getting real low. Right now it's 21 and clear according to Weather Channel.
I don't know what you just did with your camera, but it zoomed out, and I gotta say, I love it.
Whoa, it did, didn't it?
It did.
Whoa.
We even okay. So can I just talk a little bit about how the sausage is made, Patrick?
Yeah, let's fucking make
so
it.
We're pre-show. Patrick and I were shooting the shit, right? So this is Spotlight Games podcast where we talk about we were shooting the shit, and I find out that I've had this particular web camera for Patrick, how many? Over a year now.
Oh, for sure over a year.
Has been
at least, yeah.
I just found out I can adjust how bright the lighting is on the camera a year into having this webcam, which goes to show I too, just like my wife, cannot read instructions.
We out here. That feels pointed though. What did Sid do that felt worth pointing out? Like,
oh, dude, you just ask Sid anytime, like, do you ever read instructions? And she'll just be like, no, that's not my responsibility to read instructions. It's your responsibility to come behind me and make sure that whatever I just messed up gets fixed. That's how that works.
It was in your vows, in your wedding vows.
Pretty sure it was. Yeah, you were there.
I was up there with you. I was not 2 feet from you.
True.
I was not 2 feet from you. It was more like 8 feet. But
I don't know.
No one has a yardstick to prove me wrong. Cognitive Clips in the chat. Good evening, Dumper Man and Dumpster Boy. How you doing, buddy?
Dumper Man.
Because I got a dumper. Cayman, we got a lot of video game stuff to talk about because this is the Spotlight Games podcast where each week we spotlight the latest and the greatest in the world of video games. You can get it by subscribing to our YouTube channel at Spotlight Games Pod or by searching for Spotlight Games in your favorite podcast app. And hey, you can be on the show by tuning in as we record live Tuesdays at 8 p.m. Eastern time on twitch.tv/Spotlight Games Pod. So be sure to follow us there so that you're notified when we go live so you can be part of the conversation. Join the Discord.
Join it.
What are you doing? There's a link in the description of both the YouTube video and the podcast. What are you doing?
What are you doing?
Join the Discord. We're talking about video games daily. Talking about what we're playing. People giving us ideas and feedback on the content. Are we listening to any of it?
Who knows?
That's between you and your maker, whether we're doing
between
that.
You and God.
Yeah.
Okay, brother.
But click the link in the description. Find out what all the fun is over in this little app called Discord. Cayman,
yes,
we have been, dare I say, churning and burning on the content front lately. Last week, what a blast with Cognitive Clips and JK Games doing a Fantasy Critic draft. Each of us picking 6 games that are going to hopefully come out in 2024 to all score points on. One of us has already added like 4 more games. Me. Fucking spending money left and right in that little thing. But we're back now for what is the first time in what feels like a long time. Okay. To start our show, how we typically always start our shows here at Spotlight Games, which is with what we've been playing. So Cayman, I want to hear directly from you. What have you been playing, doggy dog?
So I think it's probably worth stating that if you're not part of the Discord, you should join it because I posted my 10th Platinum review in the Discord. And so during the last couple weeks, maybe even a couple weeks before that, I'm fucking rolling through plats right now.
Talk about churning and burning, brother.
Churning and burning through platinum trophies. So I've been posting all of my platinum reviews there where I discuss the review itself of the game, whether I think the game is worth playing, what I thought about the game, and then whether or not I believe it's worth going all the way to the extent of getting the platinum for that game. And so there's 10 reviews posted there. More are coming out. But right now I've got 3 games, Patrick, on
Tell
the
me about
docket.
them.
I'm going to be quick about all of them, actually. There's really not a lot to say here. So I started with Evil West. I'm probably seeing the game's what I've seen, game's 10 hours long.
Okay.
I'm at like hour 8.
Okay. That game on PS Plus this month. If you're
PS Plus. If you haven't picked it up, I mean, if you want to pick it up, pick it up. I'm not going to tell you it's a must play because I don't think it is.
Okay.
I think the game's enjoyable. I think the game falls victim to what I think the nostalgia type games suffer from the most, right? So, for instance, what I'm saying is like this game is a throwback to the PlayStation 3, Xbox 360 style hack and slash shooters.
Okay.
Something like Anarchy Reigns, that kind of game. Like, I don't know. It's like a very niche, weird subgenre of games that came out in this one particular generation. It was a big deal. So the thing is, the game's fun, and I really enjoy like the old West horror setting. I think is really cool. However, there is like shitty quality of life issues that are just because this is that one particular type of game where it's incredibly linear.
Yeah.
There's just a lot of really obscure, not worth finding collectibles. But the biggest issue with this game.
Oh no, it's getting worse.
The trophy list is dog shit.
No. Is it one of these like you got to kill 60,000 enemies?
No.
Kind of bullshit.
Well, there are those where it's like sever 100 limbs, headshot 20 enemies. Those are fine. I don't mind that. I'll work through that. There is 2 story-related trophies.
What is the rest?
The rest are beat the game on every single difficulty setting.
Oh, please tell me that these stacks.
And then beat the bosses of the game in different ways.
What?
And I'm sorry, none of that to me is fun.
No, that's awful.
Also the fact that it's like when I was looking up the trophy guide, I was like, is it even worth me trying to get the platinum? Because like I'm enjoying the game, but like I don't really I typically shy away from games that require me to play the game twice.
Yeah.
Specifically if I'm not a huge fan of the game I'm playing.
Yeah.
And I like this game, but this game is not a game I want to play twice. Specifically, this is not a game I want to play on the hardest difficulty, which they said is not that hard. It's just a test of your patience, which I do not fucking have.
I think my least favorite trophy in any type of game is play it on the hardest difficulty. Because I'll tell you right now,
not gonna do it.
Not gonna do it. I don't know that I've ever finished a game on its like absolute hardest difficulty.
Not worth it.
Like nightmare mode. Not worth it. Not fun.
Not worth it.
Simply
now, here's the thing. I think that the nightmare mode is a trophy only worth it for one type of game, and that's boomer shooters.
Okay, sure.
I feel like boomer shooters, so Doom, Wolfenstein, and any throwback FPS, it's a boomer shooter. That is because that was baked into like the original like thesis of the game was like the hardest difficulty. Sure. You know, like the what was it? It was not Mein Kampf mode. What was there was I Am Death, I think was Doom's, or Death Incarnate was like Doom's hardest difficulty. And that was like something you'd like, I could beat Doom on I Am Death, where you were like, I am a badass motherfucker, right?
Gotcha.
So like I agree. I think that's the only one, but those games are also typically short. So like the replay, that's the part of the replay value. Not a game like this. Not entertaining to me. I don't want to do it. So this game is one of those where if you enjoy those types of games, go give it a shot. I'm not losing my mind over it. Don't do it. Second game I've been playing, I'll make this one even quicker. I've tried to get back into Hat in Time.
Okay.
I've tried so many times to get into this game because on all like its intents and purposes, this should be a game that I like, which is like a collectathon platformer that feels like the old school like Donkey Kong 64 stuff. I still can't get into this game. Put it another couple hours into it, was like, I'm just not enjoying this. And I paused it, kicked it aside. Then, Patrick, I got a wild hair up my ass.
Oh.
I got a wild hair up my ass. You know what comes out on Friday? Not this Friday, next Friday. You know what comes out next Friday?
Next Friday would be Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth, I believe.
You're goddamn right. So I said, Cayman,
Yeah.
how dumb are you? And my internal monologue came back and was like, the dumbest.
Correct.
So I am going to see if I can solidify and change my name from the Dumpster Boy to the Platinum Papa.
Let's go.
Because I am currently attempting to platinum Skyrim before Infinite Wealth drops. Is it possible? I actually don't think physically it is. The PSN Trophy Guide said if speed run platinum on this game is like 120 hours.
Ooh.
So I don't think it's physically possible. What I can say, Patrick, I've already completed the Companions Guild storyline.
Okay.
I've already hit level 15.
Okay.
And all of the old tricks of the trade are coming back in full force.
Let's go.
Because I guess I've played this game so many times. I remember like all the way to speed level and like how to break the game in certain ways. And so there is a chance it's possible. Here's the thing. I will platinum this game. This is a bucket list platinum for me.
Sure.
So like I have to get this platinum. I have to do it, if only to rub it in Boston Mike's face.
Are there any hard trophies, or is it just like you just have to do everything basically?
It's like I could do everything. Hardest trophy in the game is, if I like remember correctly from doing this the last time, hardest trophy is the Thieves Guild like set of trophies, because stealth is kind of broken. There's ways to cheese it, but if I'm not mistaken, there was something to do with one of the missions in it that's actually really difficult if you're not very good at the stealth mechanics, and you have to like really build into it. So it's more of a grind than anything else. But honestly, I don't think it's going to be that difficult. There's no difficulty related trophies. I think it's only got like a 4 out of 10 on PSN profiles in terms of like its difficulty rating.
It's just timing.
It's just timing. I mean, one of them is like, I think, and the other one was the reason I never platinumed it before was on the PlayStation 3. I did attempt it once, but there was a glitched Daedric artifact quest that was only, apparently it's been patched, and it's like patched out on like the newest version of the game. So like not an issue. So it shouldn't be difficult. What I will say, and I know we've talked about, I'm not going to talk about Skyrim, about the game, because we've all played it. We all know it's great.
Yeah.
One, this game still holds up in like every aspect.
Oh, for sure.
Which is insane that this game is still as good as it is. Two, the anniversary upgrade makes the loading times non-existent. Chef's kiss. Because that was the other thing. I was like, God, if the loading times are the same, fuck that. There's no way in hell I could sit through those load times. And here's the other thing too. It just looks slightly worse graphically than Starfield. So if you're gonna play, if you haven't played Starfield and you got Skyrim there, just go back and replay Skyrim, because I can tell you this game is, I've already had moments where I've ran into quests that like I don't even think I've ever seen before. And I'm like, this game fucking rules.
Yeah.
So yeah,
it's top 10 of all time, as decided by the Spotlight Games audience. If you didn't watch our top 100, boy, do we have like 12 hours of peak fucking content waiting in the wings for you. I'm so thrilled to hear that you're going to get the Skyrim Platinum. And I believe that you can do it by next Friday.
Yeah,
I believe.
Oh no, man.
Look, you just started yesterday. You're already level 15.
It's if I remember correctly, it's like right around level 30 is when shit starts getting really difficult.
Gotcha.
But the whole catch with Skyrim is that don't play the same way. The mechanic don't play the same way. So always do different shit. And then the other way to do it is you can use, once you get your alchemy up, like you should always focus on your alchemy first.
Ooh, okay.
So you can
never been an alchemist in Skyrim.
Yeah, so you have to do alchemy first, so you can brew certain potions, so that basically you can brew a potion that causes you to like be able to do something. I forgot what it is, but it like boosts your ability to do smithing.
Okay.
So that when you do smithing, you can essentially create like, you can do it so much where you break the game. So it's like you can make like 3 iron daggers and hit level 100 in smithing, which is immediately like 5 levels. So like, that's how you got to do it. You just got to, there are ways to break this fucking game. And this is why I love Skyrim. I love breaking Skyrim, just bending it over my knee and just beating the hell out of it.
Just spanking it. Just spanking it. Cayman, I First of all, actually, I want to say hi to Terry in the chat. Terry wants to know if he can amend a submission for predictions. I'm giving the green light. We're going to get there once we get to the predictions. But I want to talk a little bit about a couple games I've been playing.
Yeah.
So since we last talked about what we've been playing, I've been kind of all over the map. But in the last 2 weeks, to just bring it to 2 weeks, I gave Cyberpunk 2077 another shot. It's a game that I've talked about on the show before. You were really high on it once the 1.5 update happened on PlayStation. I tried it on PlayStation. I got maybe 20 hours in and it just didn't click with me. I am now about 30 hours in on the PC and it's got its hooks in me deep, brother.
Patrick, can I ask a quick question?
Please do.
Do you ever just wake up at night and be like, God damn it, Kingman was right. Baldur's Gate, Cyberpunk.
Here's the thing, Cayman, if we can be honest.
Yeah.
I do think it from time to time. And whenever I do, I find something alive that I can kill, usually like a spider.
Sure.
Because I never, ever want to admit that you're right about anything. Because the second I do, that ego just starts getting so big. And all of a sudden you think you can rule the world because the truth is you can. But if I admit that you were right about things, then we're really fast tracking that. And I don't know that I want to be responsible. But the truth is you were fucking spot on about Cyberpunk. This game fucking rips. It rules. And here's the thing, the really interesting thing, and I'm not going to talk too much about Cyberpunk because it's an old game and I want to talk about a new game. But I texted you about this a little bit and I've since then had more of this experience. And it's so fascinating to me how, and I wonder if any of our listeners that played Cyberpunk on PC, if they would agree with me. There's something about Cyberpunk on PC that just hits different. And it's the hacking of it all. I think it's you're going into combat, you're putting points in your hacking tree. So I'm going in, I'm on the WASD. I'm clicking W to go forward. I'm holding shift to sprint. And then I press tab Cayman to bring up the fucking hacking vision. And I'm clicking on people. I'm clicking C, I'm clicking F, I'm clicking down. I feel like I'm hacking when I'm doing the hacking stuff. And it's this weird immersion role-playing thing that feels awesome, to be honest. Now there are times, because this is really the first twitchy style game I've played on a mouse and keyboard, that I just get my teeth kicked in because someone's coming at me with a big hammer and I'm like, oh God, where's the F key? What am I doing? All of a sudden my hands are on the wrong keys and I'm just dead quicker than I can say what happened. But when it works, it works.
Yeah.
So I'm having a great time. I accidentally started the Phantom Liberty mission because it lets you start it after you've completed a couple of main missions. But I immediately reloaded a save. So I was like, I want to beat the main story before I do anything Phantom Liberty.
But isn't Phantom Liberty, doesn't it take place at the 3/4 mark of the story? So technically,
it might. Okay. I'll do some research. Maybe I shouldn't wait until the very end.
I want you to have the best experience possible.
And I appreciate that. Yeah. But yeah, man, I'm just thrilled that after all this time, it's singing for me because it really is. I'm having a great time and I don't expect to put it down anytime soon. However, there is one game came in that might get me to put down the keyboard, and that'll be later this week. And that's Prince of Persia, The Lost Crown.
Interesting.
This is a game that we talked a little bit about last week. Cognitive Clips picked it on his team. I think it might have been his first pick, if not his second.
I think it was close to it.
I think it was. Yeah, it was in the first couple rounds for sure. If it wasn't the first round, this is a side-scrolling Metroidvania that in ways goes back to the original Prince of Persia feel. But the OG Prince of Persia, when it was 2D like this, it wasn't quite the Metroidvania style from what I remember. A lot of people comparing this game to Metroid Dread, a bad game. And here's the thing. If what these people are saying is true, I guess I got to give Metroid Dread a fourth chance because the demo of Prince of Persia, The Lost Crown got me so jacked on this game. It felt so good. The combat feels great. And I think, I don't want to make this just necessarily comparing it to Metroid Dread, but I think what's working for me is the setting, is the, Middle Eastern There's something magical going on. We're playing with time.
Sure.
I think that's what's working for me more so than in a game like Metroid Dread. Yeah, I'm really excited for this game to come out next week. Cognitive Quiz in the chat. Got my volume back up just in time to hear Metroid Dread. Put some respect on it. I'll consider it. We'll take it into consideration. But yeah, all of this to say, I am thrilled to get back into the full version of Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown later this week after playing the demo. The demo out now, at least on PlayStation. It might be out on other platforms too. It probably is. I just know that it's on PlayStation because that's where I played it. But if you like the Metroidvania style game, give it a look, because this game I think is gonna rip for people. So yeah, and that comes out on Thursday this week. So day of release, this will be out. And I think it's a budget release in terms of price. I don't think this is going to be a $70 title. I think it's going to be lower than that. So if you want to start your year off a little frugal.
So they're saying, I'm hearing it early talks.
We're hearing it early talks, and then
a game of the year contender.
It could be. And then also I do want to shout out, keep your ears posted, keep your eyes peeled. Later this week on Friday, The Last of Us Part 2 Remastered comes out. I'm dabbling with the idea of streaming for the first time on the PC with it. I got a little capture card for the PlayStation. So I'm going to, this new roguelike mode, No Return, think I might try to figure that out. So if that sounds like something you'd be interested in,
Patrick,
keep your eye on socials. Cayman.
There's something else that comes out on Friday.
Hit me.
One of our friends, one of our listeners has a birthday coming soon.
Whoa. Hit me with it.
Mr. Sweet Skeet himself.
That's right.
His pop little baby boy. That little beefy baby boy has got a birthday. So, Nick, I know it's a bit early.
It's a bit early.
It's a day early, but I feel it's necessary to go ahead and wish you that birthday. Love you, brother.
We love you so much. And since we're talking about birthdays, I don't want to necessarily pull from celebrating Nick's birthday early. But today, as of recording, my mother's birthday.
Oh, God damn it, Louise.
Can you believe that?
Love it.
Can you believe that? I called her earlier, talked to her. She went to Costco today. What a way to celebrate your birthday, Cayman.
Beautiful. You know, I'm pretty sure my dad's got a birthday coming up sometime in the next few days. And honestly, don't give a shit. Moving on. For 2024.
So now we're getting into the show proper. We're 22 minutes in, and this is something that I've been looking forward to since about a year ago when we made our prediction. So the way this is going to work, Cayman, we're going to, in a way, zoom through this first section.
It's not hard.
It's not going to be hard. Not going to be hard.
We're
going to recap the predictions that we made this time last year for 2023's year in gaming. We're going to tally the votes. We're going to see who wins. We're going to crown a victor for the predictions episode. Maybe we're going to call him Predictions Papa. But after that, we're going to make new predictions for 2024. But Cayman, let's just jump right in. We're going to start with me. We're going to just go through all my predictions, get a score, and then we're going to go through yours, get a score. My first prediction, and I don't want to spoil the show, but you might hear this prediction again this year. The Legend of Zelda Wind Waker finally comes to Switch. Didn't happen. Big old zero. My next prediction, one of the funniest, when I was rereading through this, in the doc, I put in all caps, highlighted, LOL, because boy, did I miss the mark on this one. I said Starfield will be a hit. Seemingly the first time a Bethesda game wasn't launched broken in my lifetime, receiving multiple 10 out of 10 scores from big outlets, paving the way for Microsoft's bounce back 2023. Just a fucking whiff.
Didn't happen.
Didn't happen. Next, I said, this was, I guess, a prediction I made the year prior and that I brought back. I said, this is a prediction I'm bringing back from last year, but changing it up a tiny bit. Nintendo will announce its next 3D and 2D Mario titles this year. At least one of them will release. So the official prediction was, or how that panned out. We didn't get a 3D Mario game.
You did get a 2D.
We did get a 2D Mario game.
And it came out this year.
And I had a little caveat at the end that said it will launch with a new art style compared to previous 2D Mario games, which I think is fair to say happened.
Oh, I'll give you that.
So I'm going to say this is a 0.6.
Okay.
Points. I missed on the 3D.
0.75. It's fine.
Let's say 0.75.
This is a 0.75.
0.75. We're going to say 0.75 there. My next prediction, I keep forgetting I can't use the keypad. God damn it. It's time to hear from Sucker Punch about the next game in the Ghost of Tsushima franchise. It's going to be revealed in coming 2024. Swing and a miss.
Didn't happen.
Wow. My next prediction, even if the FTC does block Microsoft's purchase of Activision Blizzard King, this will be the biggest year for Xbox in a long time. And the sentiment will be, quote, it's about time Xbox had a year like this, end quote. If that's not definable enough, at the end of the year, they will have a higher Metacritic average of first-party games than PlayStation will have in 2023. I did the math, Cayman.
Yeah.
Redfall fucked me.
I didn't think about that, but right.
Redfall fucked me.
Hi-Fi Rush, great. Starfield didn't do
awful. It ended in the 80s, but like Forza got me like a 90 something, but ultimately the average was around a 77 for Xbox and around an 86 for PlayStation. And PlayStation only released like 3 games, but the games they released were Spider-Man 2, God of War Valhalla, and I forget the third one off the top of my head. But not that close because Redfall fucked me. This next one also made me laugh. We're finally going to get a trailer for The Last of Us Factions this year. They say it's releasing in 2024. Even though we know it's a multiplayer game, the trailer will highlight that it still has a story to tell. And that game was canceled.
Wow. This is rough, dude.
Yeah. So far, 0.75. This is when we get into the buck wild predictions.
Okay.
Sony will announce a new console. It's a handheld console. After the success of the Steam Deck and the Switch, Sony is going back to the handheld game. I offer that I get 0.5 for this because
I'll give you 0.5.
Not a full handheld console. It's just a remote play device, but
but I still think it's the greatest thing that happened last year.
Yeah. So far we're at 1.25 total for me.
Okay. I'm digging it.
Only a few more left. Three left for me. The FTC will block Microsoft's acquisition of Activision Blizzard, citing monopoly concerns. Didn't happen. Nintendo is finally bringing back Star Fox. A mainline Star Fox game will be announced for the Nintendo Switch for 2023. I didn't include it in my prediction, but I probably said it was going to be dog shit. But we didn't get to know because it didn't come out. And then I also said, so weird, like thinking back, like, why did I predict this? Elden Ring 2 is announced. Why did I think that?
Yeah, I feel like there was logic there that you had that
probably
didn't work.
So ultimately, final score 1.25 for Patrick.
Wow.
On to Cayman. Prediction 1, pending the Activision acquisition, Sony will announce a, quote, strategic partnership with Square Enix, essentially making a new lineup of exclusives coming to Sony.
Missed it.
Didn't happen. Nintendo announces the Switch 2 name pending, with Mario Odyssey 2 as its first launch title.
Really close.
I think that happens this year. Might be a prediction that happens, but ultimately a miss. Third prediction, Xbox delays more titles and only launches 3 first-party AAA games. You cited Redfall, Forza, and Starfield. I ended up not giving a point for this because they also announced and released Minecraft Legends and Age of Empires 4. However, I am willing to split the difference and say 0.5 because you did.
I'll take a 0.5. I'll take a 0.5 because who fucking Minecraft Legends was an absolute dumpster fire of a game that no one played.
Sure. And maybe you could say it's not AAA too.
And what the fuck is even Age of Empires?
Yeah.
Where's Andrew Schweigert to come in and be like, okay, well, here's the thing. When I was a child, when we played PC games, Command and Conquer. Fuck you, Andrew Schweigert.
I mean, I hope he's not listening because I love him very much and I don't want him to.
I do too, but still.
And I think the reason that I can say 0.5 is fair is because you say more titles will be delayed. And I don't know, like...
That's fair. We just didn't get, I think, the games that we were also kind of expecting we were.
Yeah, I think because we never got a date for Hellblade, like it wasn't officially delayed, even though it probably wasn't.
That's fair.
So 0.5. We're going to say 0.5.
I'll take 0.5.
Microsoft announces their own version of VR that will be PC-centric with future plans to become console compatible. Didn't happen. The Last of Us multiplayer game gets a fall 2023 release date and will come with the official announcement of The Last of Us Part 3 will be announced for 2024. Game was canceled. So that was the difference. You said that we were going to get The Last of Us Part 3 as well announced. Number 6, Mario Kart 9 announced as the official swan song for the Switch will be ported to Switch 2.
Didn't happen.
Your next prediction, which I'm glad that this ended up being pushed back a week because now we have official confirmation that you are correct that Hogwarts Legacy would become the best-selling game of 2023, selling no less than 12 million copies. It ended up last week, it was reported that it ended up selling, I think, 22 million copies last year, which is fucking bonkers. Tears of the Kingdom was close.
Yeah.
As of the last official notice, I think it was like 19 million that it sold. And Nintendo doesn't talk about digital numbers, but the fact that they don't, I can't say that it outsold Hogwarts Legacy, which that was our agreement. Was I thought Tears of the Kingdom would outsell it, but you won that, so that's an official point. So we're 1.5, which I believe already means that you beat me. But we got a couple more.
No, you got 1.75, I think.
Okay.
I don't know. We'll see.
We'll do a final tally here in a second. Metal Gear Solid gets an official remake and Castlevania returns, but the fans of the series are furious over what the game looks like. Konami once again ignores fans' wishes. Here's the thing. I think we go 0.5 here, even though I do believe that you meant specifically Metal Gear Solid 1, but the fact is we got a Metal Gear remake in 3. And it's coming this year, and that was announced last year. So I'm saying 0.5, but we didn't get Castlevania.
I'll take a 0.5.
0.5. So that's at 2 full points. Microsoft will launch no fewer than 5 games on Sony consoles. No, I will not explain. I love the no, I will not explain.
I think there was a couple.
I think we got a couple. We got a couple. But we didn't get 5. Epic announces, this is your final prediction. Epic announces the launch of their own version of a portable game player akin to the Steam Deck, which will prove monumental when multiple publishers sign deals to Epic, preventing their games from being playable through Steam. Didn't happen. But ultimately, 2 points for Cayman, 1.5 or 7.5, less than 2 for Patrick. So
I'm still reigning prediction papa.
Congratulations.
Still reigning prediction papa.
We also had a couple bonus predictions that we also missed. I said we were going to get a Resident Evil 1 remake. I said KOTOR remake would be in the hands of a new developer, which kind of happened, but like not super officially.
And then canceled again. So
so it was canceled, and then now the rumor is that it's gone somewhere else. But that's not official, so no points. Bloodborne gets a full remaster / next gen upgrade, not a remake. Also didn't happen. And then your bonus predictions were this was before the Cognitive Clips era of Spotlight Games. You said Metroid Prime 4 is finally given a release date for 2024, and it'll launch exclusively on the Switch too. As we know, that didn't happen. And then you also said Saudi Arabia's Savvy Gaming Group will outpace China's Tencent as the largest investor in gaming to date, becoming the dominant stakeholder in multiple large publishers. Truth is, I didn't see if this is true or false.
There's
like, how do I,
getting prepped for today's episode. Apparently they did enough for that prediction not to be correct.
Okay.
But apparently they are making moves where this upcoming year, they could potentially be rivals to Tencent or close.
Okay.
So I wasn't right by any stretch, but I was in the right. My head was in the right area,
in the right lane, lane.
Yeah.
So congratulations, Cayman, for winning the 2023 predictions. Also, I have to say before we move on, I started laughing while you were talking about what you were playing, and I didn't address it, but I was reminded because I just got I never get notifications from Netflix, but for some reason I've gotten 2 notifications while we've been live. The first one is what really made me laugh. It said, reminder, here's your reminder that Cats is ready to watch.
No. Cats is not ready to watch.
It's actually no, do not do it.
Don't, unless you go with Patrick and I to a theater right before the pandemic hits.
Yeah, that's the key part is you have to go see it in a movie theater right before a global pandemic, like days before a global pandemic.
I can't tell you, I know that we're running behind already, but I have to say there was a moment during the movie about, I would say 3/4 of the way through. There's probably 25, 30 people in this movie theater, and we make up 7 of them. The entire audience erupts in laughter, and you just see hands, because we were at the very back of the theater, hands just tossed up in the air in exasperation, and people were just booing. People were upset. People were laughing in the worst moments when it was like, this cat's going to die. People were laughing at that, and it was great.
I'll be on my deathbed, and I'll think of 2 movie theater experiences in my life. I'll think of Endgame, which was remarkable.
Yeah.
And I'll think of the Cats viewing experience because it was its own level of remarkable. We all agreed there are no rules about talking, laughing, we were all just there as if we were in someone's living room having a great time.
My favorite story was I heard this story. It's like a packed out audience for something, and the Dune trailer came up. Right,
Okay.
the audience is dead quiet. Dune trailer comes up, and then it emblazons at the end. It's like Dune, and right as the music starts to fade down, some dude just yells out. He goes, "How you Dune?"
Stop.
And then it does. No one says anything. No one laughs. And then someone from the back of the audience just goes, "Shut the fuck up, dickhead!" And then the whole audience just fucking rags this one dude for
Amazing.
making a Joey reference. Like,
Amazing. That's great.
yeah.
Okay, on to our gaming predictions for 2024. The way this is going to work, we're just going to go back and forth. I'll do a prediction, you'll do a prediction. I'll do a prediction, or if you want to start, as the champion, I think you get to start.
Okay.
For this year, we're going to do 10 total. We both came with a few more than 10 in case we have any overlap, and then we also have some from the audience that we'll share.
Cool.
So Cayman, start us off.
All right. So my first prediction, I'm going to do this just in case Patrick has it because Patrick has more bonus predictions than I do. I'm going to go with Nintendo shocks everyone by announcing that Switch 2 will be backwards compatible. However, only for digital games.
Interesting. So if you have do you think they're going to change the format?
I think they're going to change the format because I don't think they're going to be able to fit enough onto a cartridge.
Interesting.
And so because of that, I think it's going to be a different format on how they do it. However, I think the big key here is that you can still play your games. You can just only play them digitally if you have them. So that's
interesting.
It's my first prediction. I don't know if that's something you had, but that's my prediction.
So here's my spin on it.
Okay.
I said, and then there's also one from the audience too about Switch 2. So let's just get all of them out of the way. Okay. My first prediction, Switch 2 is finally revealed for a fall release date. It will launch with Mario's new 3D entry, which is very similar to your prediction last year, but I'm not done, Cayman.
Okay.
It'll cost $399.99. The rumors will be true. This will be an incremental step up from the Switch, but not a whole new gen from them. Think 3DS to new 3DS.
Oh.
So since most of that is already like kind of in the conversation to a degree, this is what I'm going to add as my extra spice. The visions are unclear. I don't know which franchise this is, but I'm thinking we're going to get an old school franchise to return, like a Kid Icarus, like an Ice Climbers. I'm thinking alongside Mario, we're going to get like an older franchise. And to be extra clear, if Metroid Prime 4 did launch, that does not count because we've had multiple Metroid Prime releases in the last like 3 years. I'm talking something.
So you're talking
Paperboy, like something old.
Yeah.
That would come back. So that's going to be my extra spice. So if all of that stuff is true about Switch, we'll say half point. And if I don't get the Kid Icarus, whatever second part, that's how I get my full point.
That's how you get a full point. Okay. I want to hear this audience prediction.
So Nick wrote in, whose birthday is tomorrow as a release. He said Switch 2 is going to be revealed. And we're going to get new Mario, but it's going to be like Bowser's Fury. So I think the unsaid part of that is it's not going to be Odyssey 2. It'll be what
was it? It was like it was but the new Super Mario Bros. U, essentially.
Yeah. But I think what he means is it would be like a fully fleshed out.
Oh, okay. So like a
Bowser's Fury,
like a standalone DLC on top of. Okay, I dig that. I can dig that. I can dig that.
And Nick, please feel free to text us or write in to clarify if I misinterpreted what you meant by that.
I can dig it. I can dig it.
So okay, so that's one in the books for each of us. Cayman, number 2. Back to you.
Back to me. Patrick, do you want a Buckwild prediction or do you want a regular one and you want me to save something crazy?
I think let's ease into the Buckwild.
Okay.
I think let's go a little normal. And if you want to throw a little spice onto it, by all means. But let's not put all the cards on the table.
I'll save because I got one that's a little bit. It is a Buckwild prediction that I'm hoping is very wrong, but also I very well see it to be true. So I'm gonna go with a less Buckwild prediction. Microsoft buys NeoWiz Games, the
Okay.
developers behind Lies of P.
Interesting. I like that prediction, and I'll tell you why. Even though they're not From Software. They're not exclusive. They've made exclusives on PlayStation like Bloodborne, and Demon Souls. So that would be interesting if of Xbox's way to say we can do this too, amigo.
Yeah, and I
like that.
think that this is one could say Cayman, you're wrong here because they just bought Microsoft last year. This seems like a lot. This is a very small acquisition for them. This is like a fucking drop in the bucket compared to what the acquisition of Activision Blizzard would be. So I think that this works. And also, I think that this is just like it would be a good, honestly, I think this would just be a good pickup. It would be like a
I do too.
Ninja Theory. I think it'd be a good way for them to flesh out and get some more of the smaller devs that they need
I do
kind
too.
of build that. So
I like that.
it. Yeah.
I like that pick a lot. Or that prediction rather. Okay, my second one. This one. So I split my predictions into 3 categories. I have what I'm calling safe predictions.
Sure.
The Switch one was under the safe moniker. I have what's called not as safe. So like they're kind of easing into Buckwild, and then I got Buckwild. So I'm gonna do another what I'm calling safe prediction here, Cayman.
Okay.
Dragon Age Dreadwolf.
Yeah.
Will finally be shown in full this year.
Mm-hmm.
And it's gonna look so much like Baldur's Gate 3. And that's gonna excite people, I think. But I also so that's end prediction. We're gonna see a lot of Dreadwolf this year.
Okay.
It's gonna look a lot like Baldur's Gate 3. Editorial to the prediction, I think it's also maybe gonna look like shit.
I have a prediction about this game too.
All right, sweet. Let's do a little combo here.
You ready?
Yeah.
This is a Buckwild prediction.
Uh-oh. I know where this is going, I think. Hit me with it.
BioWare announces Dragon Age Dreadwolf will have AI-generated quest lines that will offer up unlimited quest variety. They will be immediately hit with massive backlash after an industry-wide pushback.
That is fascinating. And I bet if it's not Dragon Age, it's happening somewhere.
It's happening somewhere.
Yeah.
But just think about it. If there is a team that would do it, it's EA.
Sure.
100% EA.
For sure. I thought you were going to say Dragon Age Dreadwolf was canceled.
No, but it was, just as crazy.
Interesting.
Crazier, maybe.
I like that. I don't like that.
Yeah.
Actually.
Yeah.
But I could see that being real because also, we've talked about it on the show. I think this game, it hasn't quite been in development hell, but it's also not had the best development cycle from what we've been hearing. Creative directors,
but I think that there's something interesting here to that, because I think for me, when I'm thinking about this, it's like, we know AI is going to become part of video games.
Yeah.
And if I'm thinking of like what would be the best way to do it, we already have roguelikes.
Sure.
What if you used AI to literally just create randomly generated quests?
Sure. Yeah, no, I mean that makes sense.
Yeah.
And I could see that being as like a extra content thing. I could see that
not
being
like I don't think it'll be big enough or fleshed out enough to be like it is creating whole games, but it would be like, hey, collect, kill this many enemies and deliver this quest to one of these guys, right?
Yeah.
Something like that I could see,
Because wasn't it Mass Effect? I might be getting this wrong, but I feel like it was Mass Effect, same company, that was one of the first to do the game's over and now you can get like random quests assigned to you. You know what? Actually, no, I'm thinking of Horizon. I'm not thinking that was a Horizon thing where they were like at the end, it's like, oh, I need X material, and it just like creates a quest for you. That's Horizon. Sure. That's not Mass Effect. Okay, back to me.
Yeah.
I'm gonna do this is my final safe one because honestly, I just want points on the board.
Yeah.
Wind Waker this year. It's gotta fucking happen. There's absolutely no way that we don't fucking get Wind Waker this year. And if we don't, what the fuck are you doing, Nintendo?
That's fair.
Right? And to be clear,
You know
I
what's
think it's going to be the Wii U port.
You know what's
remade on,
funny about that
Switch.
is that you're talking about like, I want a safe bet so I can get some points this year. And you say that, and then it's like, yeah, that's a safe bet, but also that's like a not safe bet at all because Nintendo is terrible and hates you.
But I feel like
specifically,
yeah, I feel like the reason that it feels more safe than ever to me, because I think this is like 3 years in a row I've made this prediction.
Yeah,
is Tears of the Kingdom is out, and they've already said we are no longer releasing new content for Tears of the Kingdom.
Yeah.
So I could see it like, oh, we want something Zelda this year. And the rumors had been this game is done. So is Twilight Princess. Apparently they've just been like in the wings waiting to be re-released on Switch. People like Jeffy Grubb have said that.
Jeffy Grubb.
So we'll see if that's true. But so that's so from here on out for me will be either not as safe or buck wild, fuck wild.
Okay.
But Cayman, back to you.
All right, Patrick, do you want a good news or a bad news? Because I've got a couple of both.
Let's do some bad news.
Okay.
Let's bring it down.
You know what? I'm going to go with the worst news first. Well, no, this isn't. Well, I mean, they're all bad news from my bad news picks, but we'll go with this one. GameStop officially announces bankruptcy and closes all of their locations across the U.S.
So you're saying sell your stocks now. Those stocks.
I'm saying that GameStop does not survive until 2025.
I wouldn't be surprised.
I think the trajectory that we're going as an industry to digital games and the way that this is pushing this direction, I just don't see, especially now, because really the only thing that could save them is a release of the Switch. But even then, I don't think that's enough. To be able to even help them.
It's one of those things where I feel like we've kind of wondered for years, like, at some point they're going to go under.
I think
the pandemic was so good for them.
Yeah.
But I won't be surprised if you get this one right. You know, I don't ever want people to lose their jobs. But,
yeah. It's a bummer, but
yeah,
the writing's on the wall.
All right, Cayman, I'm going to give you the option to guide me for this next one.
I love it.
I can make a PlayStation prediction.
Okay.
I can make an Xbox prediction.
Okay.
Or I can make a prediction about The Rock. Which would you like?
The Rock, baby.
Let's go. I knew you were going to do it. My fourth prediction, The Rock will appear in a video game. And wrestling doesn't count. I'm not talking wrestling.
Okay. It's like, I mean, he's going to show up.
I'm not talking fucking some annualized wrestling game.
Okay.
I'm talking facial capture, like a Call of Duty type thing. I'm thinking Idris Elba in Cyberpunk. The Rock will be the face of a video game in 2024. I don't know what the video game is going to be. I think the safe bet is it's like a shooter or something.
You know what I'm going to say? I think that's actually a safer bet than Wind Waker.
You think so? Here's my thinking on it. As I was brainstorming, The Rock 2 years ago was doing everything.
Yeah.
He had fucking reality shows. He had a sitcom. He had so many movies, and he's really quieted down a lot. And there's also been some negative press in various ways about him. And I feel like he's probably got a little more time on his hands these days. And I feel like I'm surprised that we've never had The Rock starring in a video game.
Yeah.
And I think something like a Call of Duty, someone who's going to pay him $100 million would make sense. And so Terry in the chat, he's already in a video game. He's got a whole character in Fortnite. Yes, but I don't think it's his face. He like wears a mask and stuff. Fair point, but because I thought about that when making this, but yeah, I'm thinking
you're thinking like a straight up like Keanu Reeves.
I'm thinking Keanu Reeves Cyberpunk. I'm thinking Jon Snow Call of Duty. Like I'm thinking or Kevin Spacey Call of Duty, even like one of these Hollywood actors face.
Well, hopefully not game. Kevin Spacey.
Right. But as an example, fucking Josh Duhamel in that awful Callisto Protocol. Yeah. Something like that's what I mean. Yeah. So
that's a solid bet. I like that. That's a great prediction, Patrick. I'm proud of
you. Thank you. Back to you for, I believe, number 5.
Okay. Do we want another? Honestly, I don't really know if anything I have left. I'm going to just go through the sad ones and then we'll all end on happy notes. Okay. Going with another sad one, guys. This is actually my wife. It's funny. My wife mentioned to me when I was giving her my prediction, she's like, "Cayman, do you actually have any happy predictions in 2024?" It's like, as sad as it is, I don't know. Don't think so. Suicide Squad will be deemed both a critical and a commercial failure, which will lead to massive layoffs at Rocksteady with the potential closure of one of their studios.
Whoa. I think the first part of your prediction is a slam dunk.
I think it's going, but I think here's the thing. There are situations where studios have a bad go of it, and that's, they have a bad game. Yeah. They see some, it is what it is. They move on, right? Redfall. I think Rocksteady, this is bad enough that they potentially close down like one of the second studios.
Well, I think, and we don't love putting negative juju into the universe.
I know. This is all I'm doing right now.
But the amount of money that they have invested in this title and how many times it's been pushed back for like polish. And there was that, you remember what, a year and a half ago when they basically were like, "Hey guys, we got to start over some things." Like, based on how the reception is, we realize that we've missed the mark. And then now we're getting previews of it and people are like, this still ain't it. So I do wonder if this is, if they don't make money on this, which I really don't see how they could, that this might be like a make or break.
Yeah. I think the other thing too is like WB specifically also isn't having a very good time right now, as you can see with how a lot of their shit's going. I don't know if this game is a critical failure. I don't even know if Rocksteady survives.
Yeah. Oh, man. And it's like, it's so funny. I think of, I was thinking about this during the Dreadwolf conversation a little bit ago. You turn back time 10 years, and it's so interesting to me how some of what used to be the most successful developers in gaming are just not it anymore. I think of Rocksteady. I think of BioWare, like those two studios specifically, with Mass Effect, with the Batman Arkham series, like used to be the fucking cream of the crop, and now are both like on the ropes.
Yeah.
Which is sad.
I think but I also think too, a lot of it is, I think games as a service, people didn't use a crystal ball to see like how much longevity that could lead to. And I think when you couple that with how games now take 5, 6, 7 years to develop for some of these big studios, like you're hedging your bets that games as a service will still be one of the biggest things ever in 7 years when you start developing a game. I think we're starting to see that's, maybe not the case.
Yeah.
It's tough.
Terry in the chat, I hate that this feels so plausible. I feel like Fortnite has really made these devs think we all want games as a service. You're right, because you also look at PlayStation and their games as a service push, and like how a lot of those have already been like internally delayed. And it's just like, man, stop with this. I might pull out a Sony games as a service prediction. I'm going to wait and see kind of how this falls. But I'm not going to pull it out yet. But what I am going to pull out right now, Cayman, is GTA 6.
What about it?
I don't think it's coming out this year.
I think it was coming out in 2025 anyway.
Fuck.
I think it was supposed to come out this year.
Let's see. No, you're right. Okay. Different prediction. Moving on. Amazing. For some reason, I thought it was a 2025.
Hey, dude, you were about to get an easy 1 point.
I was. So thanks for keeping me honest. Okay. Next, let's go complete opposite end of the spectrum. GTA 6, Rockstar, the most lucrative game dev out there. Let's talk about Giant Sparrow, Cayman. a
Okay.
teeny tiny developer.
Yeah.
You might know them from games like The Unfinished Swan and What Remains of Edith Finch.
Both great games.
One of which was on our top 100, deservedly
Yeah.
so. I think they're revealing their next game this year.
I love it.
Last time we heard from them was 2022. And when they last spoke in 2022, it was about What Remains of Edith Finch coming to iPhone. That game came out in 2017.
Yeah, they're definitely due.
I feel
I
like
like this.
whatever, I don't know what they're working on. They haven't said what they're working on, but I feel like it will be revealed this year. But I bet it's revealed to come out in 2025. Like, I don't think it's going to be it's out this year.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be a 2025
game.
it. But I really hope that that we hear from them, because I want to know what the fuck they're working on.
You know what, Patrick? I think I want to change pace myself. And I want to talk about a smaller studio, maybe a little bit bigger than Team Sparrow, but definitely not the size of Rocksteady.
Okay.
Team Ico is back with a new game announced this year. I don't think it comes out this year, but they're going to announce a new game. Part 2. It's not going to be called Shadow of the Colossus 2, but it will be a more direct spiritual successor to Shadow of the Colossus than a thematic game. You know, like they don't do sequels, they just do thematically similar games. I think they're going to have a spiritual successor to Shadow of the Colossus 2, and I think probably coming out in 2025.
I could flip a fucking desk right now, Cayman. If that happens, oh my God.
You know, I've been watching a lot of old ECW videos because my mental health is bad. My favorite thing in the world is Joey Styles, the old announcer for ECW. There would be like the Dudley Boys would like dunk someone through a table that was on fire, covered in barbed wire, because ECW was batshit crazy. And Joey Styles would be in the back, like, "Oh my God. I love it. That sound needs to be like, we need to have ringtones again, and that should be my ringtone.
We need to add that to the soundboard of Spotlight Games.
Oh my God.
Yeah, it's gonna happen. Also, Rabbit128, John in the chat, Silk Song, fingers crossed,
never
cries into my controller.
It's not gonna come out.
I think this is a great time to pivot, do a quick little intermission, and bring in some audience predictions. So that's John's in the chat. Silk Song finally coming this year. Cognitive Clips wrote in Metroid Prime 4 coming this year. Let's hope.
Let's hope. For
I still don't think so, but let's hope. Terry had written in, but let's scroll back up to earlier in the chat when he wanted to amend his submission. I'm going to say that Final Fantasy VII Rebirth will be one of the best sellers of the year, not just outselling its predecessor. So the original prediction was it's going to outsell Final Fantasy VII Remake. And now he's saying that it's going to be one of the best selling games of the year. So let's do this, Terry. Let's say it's going to be one of the two best selling games of the year, 3 best selling games of the year. Chat in, let me know what number you want it to be a part of. Because I think it's plausible for sure. I think that it's certain. So Final Fantasy VII Rebirth all time sold 7 million copies, which, you know, you compared to Hogwarts, what we talked about earlier, 22 million doesn't sound like a lot, but I think Rebirth does better than that. He says top 3. Okay, so we're gonna add that in. Top 3 seller for 2024. I dig that. I like that. Mike wrote in. Boston Mike said new Resident Evil. What I would like to hear from him, does he mean like Resident Evil 9, or does he mean like Remake 6? Probably he means Resident Evil 9.
I would hope that he's going Resident Evil 9, because I think that actually fits the trajectory of how they release their games. That would be where we would be at. I don't see a Resident Evil 5 remake on the horizon anytime soon.
I would agree. I wonder if I would need to go back, because I can't remember their release. What?
I just had an epiphany.
Yeah, you got a new prediction coming in?
I don't have a new prediction, but I solved your old prediction.
Which one?
Your Resident Evil prediction.
Oh, yeah?
Resident Evil 1 comes out before Resident Evil 5.
Let's
think about it, because now you're setting up Chris Redfield and a lot of characters that make appearances in 5.
Yeah.
It makes more sense to have both Leon's story over here than Chris's story over there.
I think that makes perfect sense.
I love it.
Gimme that thing called Resident Evil 1 remake. What I don't remember is what the release and announce cadence was. Like, looking back, like, when was 8 announced compared to 3 remake? Like, was it the next year? Was it 2 years? I just don't remember like what the schedule was. But I wouldn't be surprised if we get a new one announced this year. But I also wouldn't be surprised if the next announcement is next year for Resident Evil.
Resident Evil 4 was announced. I mean, we had rumors, but it wasn't announced until March of last year. Then came out, or March of the year before, of 2022.
Yeah.
So
it could be. And then Nick's Nick had the Switch one and the Mario one, but he also had one extra one, which was a Pokemon Arceus type game comes out. So Pokemon Legends, I think, would be the prediction. So let's say that. So Pokemon Legends Arceus type game is announced. Okay, great. So back to us. So you just went with, what did you say?
I went with Team Ico.
Right.
Yeah.
So you've done 6, I've done 5, I believe.
2, 3, 4. Yeah, so I've done 6.
Let's go Xbox for this next one, Cayman.
Okay.
Ever heard of a little bear called Banjo and his little freaky friend called Kazooie?
I'd have a beer with them.
I think they're coming back, baby. There's been some little messages from Phil Spencer. Banjo fans, we hear you, he said.
Yeah.
I think it's time. I think
it is.
I think at one of the showcases of Xbox this year, we're getting a new Banjo trailer. To add a little spice to it, I'm going to say it will not release in 2024.
Yeah. I think that's solid.
Adding that in right now. Will not release 2024. Okay, so that's 6 each. So do we want
stretch?
We're in the home stretch. Is it time to start getting a little more buck wild?
Yeah, I mean, mine are all over the place right now. So I'm just gonna jump in to the next, which is going to be Microsoft makes a major push into mobile gaming by introducing multiple large IPs as mobile-centric titles. First game released from Microsoft's new mobile publishing house, Halo Mobile.
Interesting.
Think Call of Duty's mobile shooter, but with Halo, like Halo's multiplayer instead.
Interesting. I definitely see this as a possibility. My only concern about Halo is that they seem to not know what the fuck they're doing with Halo.
That's why I think that this is what they do with it.
But it could be, yeah, this could be the solution, or a solution, not the solution, but a solution to figure out what the fuck they're doing with Halo. Interesting. I could see, I mean, especially, they bought King, which is Candy Crush and all that shit. I like it. I like it a lot.
Thank you.
Next up for me, number 7. It wouldn't be a predictions show, Cayman.
Can't imagine.
If I didn't talk about just a beloved franchise. Kingdom Hearts.
Barbie. Oh, okay. I thought you were going to talk about Barbie's.
Barbie Supermodel 2 finally released. No, Kingdom Hearts 4 came in.
Okay.
We had a trailer. Was it a year ago, 2 years ago? It was like a teaser, like a vibes trailer, essentially. I think we're going to get a more in-depth look at what's coming for Sora, Donald, and Goofy. It's not going to even get a release window, though. So by the end of the trailer, we're going to ask ourselves, why the fuck are you showing us Kingdom Hearts 4 again? Because there
was a Kingdom Hearts 4 or what?
There was. So Kingdom Hearts 4 was announced. Let's see when this was. April 2022. I think.
Shit. I forgot.
So we're coming up on 2 years since it's been announced. And when they announced it, it was very cinematic, and it was like Kingdom Hearts 4 is in early development.
Super dark and edgy. Yeah.
So I could see an argument that it would be unveiled with a date this year. But I feel like they're going to do like what Xbox has been doing with Hellblade. We're going to see it 2 or 3 more times and still never get a date. So I think we see Kingdom Hearts. We see an in-depth Kingdom Hearts look this year, but we still don't get a date.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I dig it. I like it.
It just, I feel like it's been too long to not hear more about Kingdom Hearts. So
I don't disagree. I think you're right there. I honestly completely even forgot that trailer came out.
Yeah. As I was trying to figure out games to talk about, I looked at like games without a release date list, and that was one of them. I was like, oh fuck, I forgot Kingdom Hearts 4 was announced.
Oh fuck.
Oh fuck.
Oh fuck.
All right. Next up for you, Cayman.
All right, I'm gonna throw in my last depressing pick.
Okay.
Then this is a Sony pick.
Okay.
Sony will have a downswing year and will not have an exclusive title be nominated for Game of the Year at the Game Awards. It will be the first time in 11 years that Sony won't have a first party title that will be in the Game Awards conversation.
I think it's very possible. I think it's so.
This might be a safe pick too.
It might be. This isn't going to be an official prediction, but what I was going to talk about with Sony, so I'm going to just kind of tag this on for the conversation. The first of Sony's new games as a service initiatives releases and is a total flop, a la Redfall. Overall, PlayStation will be very quiet this year, and it'll look like a bad year overall compared to Xbox/Microsoft. So we're on the same page in terms of I don't think this is going to be PlayStation's year. Unless they surprise us. I just don't see
I think Nintendo, it's Nintendo's year.
Yeah. I think it'll be a mix of Nintendo and Xbox's year, as long as Hellblade doesn't fuck me, which
we'll see.
But let's say this. Let's keep it in the family of PlayStation. And so this might be a highlight for PlayStation this year, but it's not going to be anything released. It'll just be something announced. Naughty Dog reveals their next game. It's a new IP. It is not The Last of Us. And as a side thought, I think if we're going to see The Last of Us 3, it's going to be next year. Yeah. But I'm thinking we're getting the new IP, this rumored
space adventure
sci-fi IP. I think we see it this year from Naughty Dog.
I like that. I think Sony desperately needs that.
Yeah, I think so too, because especially after The Last of Us Online getting canceled, and they had a separate team on that. They've had a team working hard on this new IP for a while now. I think the one way that I see this not coming to fruition is that when you think of Last of Us Factions being canceled, you think of Last of Us 2 Remastered coming out next week, tomorrow as a release. I think of Last of Us Part 1 remake last year. They've had their hands in lots of things. So maybe it's still too soon to announce the new thing, because they've been doing so many kind of quote unquote littler projects.
Yeah.
But it's been at this point 4 years since their last mainline release. I would think we would see something this year.
No, yeah, I definitely think you kind of have to at this point. Yeah, that's fair.
Number 9.
Number 9, Patrick. I got some news for you.
Yeah.
My brain's tickly. And I'm starting to get a vision that Konami is going to announce a new Castlevania game. But guess what? This might be cheating a little bit. It's not really cheating, but this is my prediction. The game will be developed by the team behind Dead Cells Evil Empire.
Oh, interesting. So the reason you said it might be cheating is because they did the DLC.
Yes. So we know 2 things right now. We know, 1, that Dead Cells is working on a major third-party IP. Like some major IP that's not an original for them. Then we know that. We don't know what else it is. But I think that Castlevania was because this apparently scored incredibly well in reviews. And I think that was kind of like the audition tape, or basically the teaser for like what they're going to be doing with Konami. And I think they're going to be putting out a new Castle, like an actual standalone like Castlevania game that's not like a crossover. Like this will be a legit Castlevania game.
I can see this. I can see this for sure. I'm kind of shocked, to be honest, that we've not gotten more Castlevania.
Yeah.
So I like this pick.
Well, Konami has been so quiet lately with like everything. I mean, the Castlevania TV show is still like they have like a spinoff that's doing really well, but Konami is starting to open up the floodgates, like not the floodgates, but opening back up with there's the Twin Snakes reboot or remake is being teased.
Mm-hmm.
We've got Metal Gear Solid 3 or Metal Gear Solid Delta coming out this year. They've got Silent Hill 2 by Bloober Team that's hanging out in the wings. We don't really know what's going on there, but we know it's coming probably this year. So I think their next big thing is Castlevania, and I think the team behind Evil Empire that did Dead Cells could do a really, really, really cool version, because what we're seeing is it's not internally developed games. Bloober Team is not internal for Konami.
Right.
And so I think that this is the sign. Konami's hiring outside devs to use their IP.
Yeah, I think you're right. I considered doing a Silent Hill 2 prediction, but I mean, we know it's coming this year at this point, even though it's not been announced. Also, John in the chat, what a sweet new prediction he just made. I predict Spotlight Games Podcast has their biggest year yet. Thanks, buddy.
Yeah,
I sure hope so. I sure hope so. Okay, so that was your number 9. So my number 9, I have a lot to choose from, but as I read through them, few of them excite me. So I'm trying to find, let's see. I got one about Lord of the Rings. I got one about The Witcher. I got one about Astrobot. I got one about Control. What about BioShock?
What about BioShock, Patrick?
My 9th prediction. We're finally seeing this new long-rumored BioShock game from 2K. It's going to be revealed with a release window of 2025. It will be set in a new environment. We're not going to Rapture. We're not going to Columbia.
Okay.
But it will still feature Big Daddies. If you know what I'm saying.
I love it.
So I would be shocked if they went back to Rapture or Columbia. But I feel like being this far removed, about this blanket just coming out of nowhere, being this far removed from the last BioShock game, I feel like it needs some, some sort of connection to its original IP from a visual standpoint. And Big Daddy is the easy answer there.
I like that. I think that that's a solid. I wonder. I know some of the rumors have been that like the new location will be like the Antarctic.
Ooh,
which
interesting.
Sounds cool to me on paper, but at the same time, it's also like it doesn't seem very grandiose. Like I feel like Rapture and Columbia were so like big, and like the Arctic doesn't seem as exciting. But like, who knows? I'd love to see what they do there.
I almost had the prediction that they go back to Rapture, but then I was like, what else can you do in Rapture? Like, I just don't think and Columbia, I don't think they would go back there either. So by process of elimination, new setting.
Patrick, I got my 10th prediction.
10th prediction.
I might say, Cayman, you're kind of ending after making such a charge that the Dragon Age Dreadwolf would use AI to end on this particular note. But I think this is actually more of a buck wild pick, Patrick.
I mean, I'm ending mine with what I think is a buck wild pick, and I'm interested to see if you agree, but hit me, baby.
Stalker 2 wins Game of the Year at the Game Awards, netting Xbox their first Game of the Year at the Game Awards ever.
Whoa. Stalker 2 specifically.
I think there is a world in which this game exceeds any and all expectations by like a significant margin. And I think that this is going to be I think this is going to be bigger and more impactful than Senua's Sacrifice.
Interesting. So one of my predictions that didn't make it was an Xbox game, likely Hellblade 2, wins multiple Game of the Year awards for major institutions. Think IGN, GameSpot, the Game Awards. But Stalker 2, now that's interesting. That is buck wild.
It is. It to me, this is. But I don't know, man. There's
You got a feeling
something-
somewhere within you.
Yeah, and who fucking knows? This game might not even come out next year. So, but the good news is, I actually pulled my last one, switched it for this prediction.
Ooh.
This was an impromptu prediction because I didn't want to end on a sad note again.
Sure.
Because it was also not happy.
Well, we'll do a quick little what didn't make the cut. I've sprinkled in a couple of mine already, but my final prediction, and this was the only one that I, going into the episode, labeled as buck wild, because the truth is, I don't think there's a chance in hell that this happens, but I'm still going to predict it. Cayman.
Mm-hmm.
Close your eyes. If you're driving, close your eyes.
I'm closing mine right
now. If you're laying in bed listening, close your eyes. Everyone needs to close their eyes. There's a showcase. Maybe it's a PlayStation State of Play. Maybe it's the Game Awards. I don't know where. I don't know what. But we start on a black screen.
Okay. Black screen.
We hear the pitter patter of footsteps. Maybe we hear some what sound like blades slicing through meat.
Shing,
shing, shing. Right. Maybe we hear some wind in the background. People start wondering, oh, wow, is this Ghost of Tsushima? Wow. It's not, because we hear and we see what looks like a zombie come up. Onimusha is coming back, baby. I wonder, Cayman. I'm just asking the question while I make this prediction. We keep going back and forth. What's next for Resident Evil Remake? Is it 1? Is it 5? Is it 6? Is it Code Veronica? What if it's Onimusha?
That is brilliant.
What if they take a little bit of a break from a Resident Evil Remake to bring in another franchise, same, kind of OG developer in terms of, or sorry, that OG feel of like, it was basically Resident Evil, but with samurai and zombies. I feel like an Onimusha game in 2024 could fucking hit.
I think you're not wrong. I think with all the other titles out right now, with games like Rise of the Ronin and I think Ghost of Tsushima, like that's definitely a big area right now where they're seeing a lot of success.
Yeah.
And also, I don't know if you know this, but like the Onimusha anime on Netflix, the Netflix original, apparently was fairly successful.
Oh yeah.
So I definitely there's
some
the
cachet
IP's,
at least.
The IP's not dead by any stretch.
Yeah.
So I like that a lot.
It just feels like they're at this fork in terms of the Resident Evil Remake side. Because honestly, here's my thing. If Onimusha does come back, if I get this right, I think it is more likely that it is a remake than it is just a new Onimusha game.
Oh, for 100%.
At the very least, like a reimagining. Yeah. But I don't know, something about that franchise. Because like a lot of people have been like, oh, bring back Dino Crisis. I don't think Dino Crisis would sell, even though you could probably find a clip of me somewhere being like, fucking bring back Dino Crisis. I think Onimusha would actually have a chance at being successful, because there seems to be this, whether it's on TV and film or in games like with Ghost of Tsushima, this trend of the like samurai Ronin style games. And I think the one genre that is lacking at the moment is survival horror. We haven't really gotten that franchise in the modern era, or that genre rather, in the like samurai style. So Onimusha is coming back.
Could you imagine like creeping through an old temple, and you've got like your sword like on ready, and like you're like, I mean, that just seems like a really cool setup to have for a modern game, because it worked well with like the static backgrounds and stuff like
Mhm.
that. But like for a modern setting, I think it's risky, maybe slightly risky. But I think if someone has a good enough idea on how to do it, dude, I think that game would be so fucking cool,
Because
man.
yeah, I mean, you think of like the new RE engine and how good those games look and how good they've made them feel in third
Yeah.
person. I guarantee you, Melee in that kind of a style would work fucking great too.
Oh yeah.
It would just have to be, worked on. But yeah, I feel like it's gonna be, if it does happen, it's gonna be one of those things where the trailer holds that it's Onimusha until the last possible second.
Oh
And then
yeah.
it's like,
Yeah.
splash screen, whatever, Onimusha.
Oh man, that's gonna be so fucking cool,
We'll see.
dude.
We'll see. So that's it. Those are our 10 each.
Those are 10. Yeah.
So yeah, what are some, just to close out the show before we hit the road, what are some, you don't have to go into all the
I
details.
only have two.
Okay.
So the first is EA's NCAA football gets delayed to
Mm,
2025. That
okay.
was my last one, mainly because of due to NLI restructuring within Congress. Because it seems like Congress is going to get
Ah,
involved. That might throw a wrench into things. I did see a Twitter post where someone who was like, "I have like insights and sources within EA." They were really bummed out that people thought they were going to be announcing the game during the national championship. They're like, but they got free press, which is great, but the game's
yeah.
still coming. The game's still coming this year. They just don't want to show it yet. And
Gotcha.
I'm like, okay, well, that seems crazy. We're already, middle of January, and this game's supposed to drop in summer. Like, I don't know, man. And NIL is so sticky right now with all the rumors of Congress. So that's that. And then my last bonus prediction I had was that Final Fantasy VII Rebirth would come to Xbox by end of 2024.
Interesting. Okay. Because has Remake even come there yet?
No, but I have this feeling that that with the news about how about Final Fantasy 14 had come to Xbox and it looked like Square Enix and Xbox were getting kind of cozy together. I could see there being like a timed window. So I was like, I think it's a safer bet to say Final Fantasy 7 Remake makes it over. But I don't know.
Sure.
Kind of feeling like maybe both of them.
I can see that. I can see
Yeah.
that. I also wonder, and maybe there's already news out there about like what the exclusivity is, but like I wonder if 16 is coming to Xbox at any point. Maybe we already know that it's not, or that like there's a window already.
I think there's a window. I just don't know what that looks like.
Gotcha. Ones that didn't quite make the cut for me, just as like a quick, won't get into every detail. One about The Witcher 4, like we haven't actually seen it yet, just like we only saw like a title screen kind of thing, or a logo rather. Astrobot, I was wondering if we got a new Astrobot this year. That's non VR.
Yeah.
An official trailer for Control 2. And it being somehow connected to Alan Wake, because we are getting 2 pieces of Alan Wake DLC this year, which I think is ultimately why I shied away from that one.
Do you think we'll get Control 2 before we get the Max Payne remakes?
I do. But well, I don't know. I think it depends on how much like in depth the remake is. But I wouldn't be surprised if we got Control 2 before, because also, what I don't know is are there multiple teams at Remedy that have been split, or is it just, okay, everything's been Alan Wake 2, and now that that's done. But like they've had so many things that they've announced like that. I think they've also said something about a games as a service that they were working on too. So I think that there's multiple teams working on multiple games at Remedy. So that's why I'm thinking that maybe we get Control 2 earlier, but not sure. And then also hot off the heels of Gollum from last year, and Mines of Moria, which was like a co-op multiplayer game. I just feel like there are just so many more Lord of the Rings games coming.
Yeah.
I would expect the next one to be like a AAA action type game, but
yeah. So Golem was dog shit, obviously, but wasn't the other one that came out this year not good either?
The Mines of Moria one I heard was not good either.
That's such a bummer, because that sounded like it had like a lot of really cool potential.
Yeah,
because you get to do the whole trek.
Mm-hmm.
You can, and it's like that's fucking cool, man. Yeah. And like that sucks.
And like it also, the idea. I think the reason I haven't done a lot of research on it, but it seems like the reason that it didn't hit was that they tried to like force it into being multiplayer. Because it's this like you're dwarves in the Mines of Moria, like going deeper and deeper and like survival league and things like that. But
Patrick, I know we're long in this, but I do have one. I'm gonna put you on the spot. And I am curious. What do you think is going to end up being from what we know that's coming out this year? What do you think is going to be your game of the year?
From what we know is coming out, interesting. I really don't know. Like,
yeah,
I feel like Hellblade has a good shot. I also feel like maybe there's like a surprise, like a Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown, but I kind of feel like my personal game of the year hasn't been announced yet. Like I wonder if it's something that like, or actually scratch all of that. I have and I almost brought this up last week in the Fantasy Critic show, and I almost talked about it here. I have a sneaky suspicion that Avowed from Obsidian is gonna be fucking awesome.
Yeah.
Avowed is supposed to be like the next like Elder Scrolls-esque game out of Xbox. Same Obsidian are the same people that did Fallout New Vegas. So it's a fantasy first-person RPG. And I just wonder if like we're seeing more about it next week. So next week's show will probably be recapping this next Xbox developer _direct, which they're going to talk about Hellblade, Avowed.
Terrible name.
I forget the other 2 games, but they're going to talk about 4 games. I wonder if Avowed can do it and watch next year, but that did not look it after watching that. But yeah, I don't know. This is what I'll say. Nothing jumps out to me like last year where I was like, it could be Alan Wake. It could be Tears of the Kingdom. It won't be Baldur's Gate, we all said.
Yeah, we did. I'm pretty sure we all said that because I was like, Diablo 4 is going to be my game of the year.
Yeah.
Womp, womp, womp.
So yeah, I don't know. If this new Mario game comes out, and especially, Odyssey.
It'll have recency bias as well.
Yeah, for sure. Which I'm such a sucker for recency bias. So yeah, I don't know. I'm gonna stew on that a little more, and maybe I'll come next week with a stronger pick. But that's our show, folks. Thanks for being here. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. You can follow the pod at Spot Games Pod on Twitter or Spotlight Games Pod on Twitter, on YouTube, on Twitch, on TikTok, on Instagram. I think I said Twitter, but I meant Instagram, not Twitter. Twitter is Spot Games Pod. You can follow me at Patrick Schwag. Cayman, where can they follow you on Twitter?
You follow me at the Dumpster Boy on Twitter. That's really all I use.
Yeah.
Save Charge Cinema. Yeah, that shows it still exists. Still exists. We're working on it. Patrick got a copy of Steel in the mail the other day, so that should give you a little insight. There you go. It's going to be it's so bad. So hopefully Patrick and I the 2 of us will sit down and talk about Shaquille O'Neal.
But that's my dream. That's my dream. But until then, thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. We'll see you next week, and keep your eyes peeled. I might be streaming on Friday or Saturday. Last of Us Part 2 Remastered. Until then, bye.